Roll call, please.
Mayor Gavino,
Here.
Trustee Curtis, Trustee Gately,
Here.
Trustee Lowry,
Here.
Trustee Nedved,
Here.
Trustee Salazar. Here.
All right, thank you. I have a proclamation to read for National Safe Boating Week. Whereas for nearly 100 million Americans, boating continues to be a popular recreational activity. From coast to coast, everywhere in between, people are taking to the water, enjoying time together, boating and sailing, paddling and fishing. During National Safe Boating Week, the U.S. Coast Guard and its federal, state, and local safe boating partners encourage all boaters to explore and enjoy America's beautiful waters responsibly. Whereas safe boating begins with preparation, the Coast Guard estimates that human error accounts for most boating accidents, and that life jackets could prevent nearly 86% of the boating fatalities. Through basic boating safety procedures, carrying life-saving emergency distress and communication equipment, wearing life jackets, attending a safe boating course, participating in free boat safety checks, and staying sober when navigating, we can help ensure boaters on America's coastal, inland, and offshore waters stay safe throughout the season. Whereas National Safe Boating Week is observed to bring attention to important life-saving tips for recreational boaters so they can have a safer, more fun experience out of the water throughout the year. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Mark Gavino, Village President, and the Board of Trustees of North Aurora do hereby support the goals of Safe Boating Campaign and proclaim the week of May 21 through the 27th, 2022 as National Safe Boating Week, and started the boating year-round effort to promote safe boating. I urge all those who boat to practice safe boating habits, wear life jackets all the time while boating. Date of this day, Monday, the 16th of May, 2022. Yes. Lou, would you like to say a few words? Lou DeMartley. Come on up to the mic there. No, right there. No. Yep. Sure.
Actually, the Coast Guard is changing its interest and its focus from looking at large boats to looking at paddle craft, because there are more accidents on paddle craft than there are on others. And I was telling Steve when I came in that I had a personal experience that fits in. I took my daughters canoeing from a rental place in Montgomery, and the guy handed me a hand-drawn river chart to show where the pickup was. And there were two of them, one at Orchard Road and one at Yorkville. And I finally called him and I said, we passed Orchard Road, I didn't see the pickup. He says, go on down to Yorkville. I did, and we saw a little patch of gravel and beached the canoe. And I guess that was the pickup, but I stood up and I looked, and 50 feet below me is the old Lowhead Dam in Yorkville. And I thought, oh my God, the river is what, 400 yards wide at Yorkville, and there's no buoys out there marking it. So I called everybody, and everybody said, oh no, that's not ours. And finally it got to be the property of the city of Yorkville, and they were closed that day. And so we never got it done. I couldn't find anybody to call it. The river facilities are not the Coast Guard, but the Army Corps of Engineers. And they said, no, it's not ours. In a long story short, 3 guys drowned there the next weekend. And so, I mean, that sticks in my mind. as emphasis of the importance of knowing the buoyage, knowing how to navigate, even in a kayak. So if you have any questions, brief ones, I'll try to answer them.
Any questions?
No.
Any
Thank you for
voters
being
in here? Right outside, you got a river. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
What do you, all right. Audience comments. Anybody like to speak? Oh, okay. Consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Will roll, please.
Trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Curtis, trustee Gately.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Item 1, Steve.
Thank you. Item number 1 on the agenda is the approval of the strategic plan. It was brought to the board after our workshop. It was brought back committee of the whole at the last meeting to see if there was any changes, and there were no changes, so it's here for formal adoption.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Curtis, trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Item 2, Mike.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 2 is a purchase authorization for an update to the comprehensive plan in the amount of $17,499. Housley Levine completed the comprehensive plan in 2015. We're looking to update that now. We were waiting for the boundary agreements with Sugar Grove, Aurora, and Batavia to be updated. We're also waiting for the village planner to start and also the results from the strategic planning session. So now that we have all the information, we're looking to move forward. This is a budgeted item at $15,000 for next fiscal year. The direct expense for the comp plan update came just $1 under that, but we did put a little cushion in there of $2,500 for contingency. So the purchase amount would be $17,499.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Curtis, trustee Gately.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Item 3, Jason.
Thank you. Tonight attaches a resolution approving the library's 2022-23 budget. This was passed at their May 12th meeting. According to the Illinois Local Library Act, the library needs to submit to the village basically a statement of financial needs that will be used on the upcoming tax levy. So we will use this later this fall as part of the 2022 tax levy to be collected in 23. So tonight we have the library director, Shannon Halikias here, if anybody has any questions, but this is just a document that'll be used later this fall.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Curtis.
All right, thank you. Jason, item 4.
Thank you. This might be a first, but this is a budget amendment for a budget that hasn't even started yet. It's really just a cleanup of some items. We're talking, if you remember during the budget process, we were adding $60,000 for storm sewer for Ridge Road. But mistakenly, that was added to sanitary sewer rather than storm sewer. But with that, though, the money that was in this current year's budget related to the storm sewer for Ridge Road wasn't carried over. So we only had that money for sanitary sewer. So effectively what we're doing is we're pulling that 60,000 we added out of sanitary sewer and putting it in storm sewer. But then that $100,000 that was budgeted this current year that was unspent, and it will just go to reserves. We're kind of rebudgeting that for the current year. So in effect, we're re-putting that $160,000 for the Ridge Road storm sewers in.
Motion to.
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Curtis.
All right, thank you. Item 5, John.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is the approval to enter into a contract with DVM Utilities for Fairview Way subdivision storm sewer root cleaning in the amount of $60,000. So this is kind of the item that Jason was talking about. Since May of 2020, we've been investigating a drainage problem over in the Ridge Road townhomes. What we found is that a 21-inch diameter storm sewer had been almost probably 60% full of roots. There's some willow trees that are along the shared property line of Ridge Road subdivision and the new Lincoln Valley subdivision. And the willow tree roots are very aggressive. They get into that wherever there's a weakness in the pipe or in the joints and just really get in there and congest the flow of the stormwater through the pipe. So initially we we went out and asked 3 different companies that are familiar with this sort of work, National Power Routing, NPR, Visu Sewer, and Michaels for quotes. Visu Sewer came back and gave us a quote to televise and do some initial root pruning, and this is about a year ago. They weren't hardly even able to get a few feet into the pipe with the equipment they had, and they weren't able to televise the pipe because the camera wouldn't go past the roots that were clogging the pipe. So this is a bit of a concern for us because there's not a lot of companies that do this type of work. It's in a very tight area behind the Ridge Road subdivision, so you can't get a lot of heavy equipment back there. So what complicates the problem is there's a limited amount of solutions, and the ones that are available are kind of expensive. So what staff was looking at is the next best way to go about this. We've reached out to some regional companies, and one of them responded that's out of Michigan, who believes that they have high pressure water equipment that would be able to cut out the roots from this pipe and extract them. If they're successful with that, we would consider then a more long-term solution, because the first part of the solution is getting rid of the roots, but that's not going to solve the problem long-term, because those tree roots are just going to find those seams in that water and those voids again and head right back to the storm sewer. So if that mechanical or this root removal process works, the next step would then be to line the pipe possibly, or if it doesn't work, what we might end up doing is having to remove and replace the entire pipe in its entirety. So it'd be about 490 feet of concrete pipe. The reason it's important is because this pipe also acts as the overflow. So typically in most situations, how subdivisions are designed is to have an overland flow route. That means when the pipes get clogged or there's a storm that's too big and too much water comes down at once and those pipes are now full, the water then takes a path that was designed to handle it. And that might be running down the middle of the street. It could be running down a shared bare area between houses in a ditch. But basically, it's an overland route the water follows to get to its intended path, which would eventually be the Fox River or some bigger basin. In this case, the way that subdivision was designed, that overland flow route doesn't exist. The way it was designed was for that water to be conveyed through this pipe. So they actually oversized this storm sewer. So the concern is with these roots in there now is that that pipe's going to get, if that pipe continues to be this clogged, it could potentially back water up into some of the houses that have lower openings, like the Ridge Road units that have walkout basements, and could actually get into their units. So what we're doing in the meantime, while we are pursuing this company, get them to out here to see if they can pull these roots out or extract them from the pipe, is we're going to monitor the situation after almost every rainfall and just check the detention basin. If it starts filling up, we'll get pumps out there and pump the water to a location where it could drain away and it won't be a threat to the residents. But ultimately, this is the first part of a solution. We're going to see if it works. If it works, we'd pursue the lining. And then after that, if it doesn't, we'd go ahead with the removal and replacement of that pipe. So again, this item is just the approval of that initial contract with DVM Utilities in the amount of $60,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
I have a question. How did the site plan for that development get approved without having a secondary siphoning mechanism?
So that's a good question. It's actually not the preferred method of the overland flow route, but so what it was in the pipe. You can design it one of two ways. You can have that overland flow route that is that fail safe, or you can design the pipe like 4 times as big as it needed to be. So it's not the ideal way to have an overflow. At the time the stormwater ordinance was in place in 2000, it was an acceptable method.
Is that
was
rare
allowed.
though? Is that rare in town or?
Yes, that's the only location that I am aware of right now that is designed like that. So I think this is a rare occasion. This shouldn't be happening in other places in town. And as we go forward prospectively, that's one of the things the engineers are looking for, to make sure that that overland flow route is in part of the design.
Yeah. And one just thing to clarify too, is the contract before you, it's technically up to 60,000 in authorization. It says contract of 60,000. But as John may have mentioned earlier, if the work isn't working, we can always stop the work short if it's just not working. And if it goes a little longer than we anticipated, we have a cushion to keep it going until the work gets finished.
What do you, what's the lining made out of?
The lining will be similar to that, what we do with the sanitary sewer. So I think it's a plastic polyethylene type
It won't
material.
go through that? It won't go through that, the roots?
It's, from what we've seen with the sanitary sewer, it won't.
Not
Once we,
supposed to.
once we start cutting openings, if we need to like reconnect some sump pumps, that might be a location where the roots now go into the sump pump line, back through that line and into our storm sewer, but it's a long shot.
They talk about taking the trees down too, right? But then they said the roots grow after the tree's gone, the roots will grow for 10 more years. Up
So-
to 10 years, right?
I don't know the exact length of
5
time, but
years or
it could
whatever.
be something
It's-
like that.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things we were considering as an alternate solution. You know, we could take the trees down and just let the roots die and the problem kind of solves itself, but it's a little bit more of an immediate concern
Yeah.
when that water is starting to threaten those lower units. So,
So just as a reiteration, this is step one of a two-step process. Step one is get the roots out of the pipe as soon as possible. Step two is go back to the board later for either lining, tree removal, or other options that might make sense in the long term.
Was it July then for the soon as possible kind of?
yeah, if we approve today, he said he could schedule us in July.
That'd be interesting. See how they do that.
I've had that done at my house, I can tell you. They go in there with a camera and they, of course, much smaller scale, but yeah, I have the same problem in front of my
So it's
house.
24 inch or 22
21
inch?
inch. Yeah,
21
the other three companies that actually came to look at this when we initially started a year ago said that they're actually interested in seeing what this company
Yeah.
can do. So we
Yeah.
might have an audience at this
Yeah.
project.
All right. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes,
trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Gately.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Item 6, John.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is the approval of a proposal from FQC Corporation for pre-construction services for the Public Works facility in the amount of $35,000. So the staff has been working to assemble a group of design professionals so we could advance the Public Works facility project. Right now, we have WBK is our civil engineer on board. We have Williams Architects doing the architecture, and we're proposing that FQC should be the company that acts as our construction manager. We've checked out some of the references of FQC. They've worked in the town of Wooddale in the past and have had satisfactory results there. When we went through the process to select this company, we started out with 10 initial proposals. We narrowed it down to 3, and we interviewed those 3 companies. And we found that FQC provided the best personnel for our project, and we're thinking that they're going to do the best work moving forward. They have worked in the past with our architectural firm, Williams, so they do have a relationship with them. And I think that's a good component of the team. So this contract is in the amount of $35,000 for pre-construction services. And what that means is pre-construction services is basically everything we need to do in order to get us to the point where we have a design where we can make a confident cost estimate off of, and then present not only that cost estimate, but the design options to the board for their consideration. So this contract doesn't include construction administration. That would happen after we choose a design, after we decide that the amount of the project's okay or not okay, and move forward that way. So construction administration would be more things like an actual superintendent out on the job site, watching the construction happen on a daily basis. So essentially, we're trying to get the team together, and we're going to start moving the design part of this ahead so we can get to the point where we'll have some accurate numbers and some different design options that the board can choose from. So again, this item is the approval of a proposal from FQC Corporation in the amount of $35,000.
Motion to approve?
second,
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
yes,
trustee Curtis. Trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Under village president report, excuse me, I'd like to appoint 2 individuals to the Citizens Council Corps, Paul Klinger and Norma Yario. You have their info in front of you. If you have any questions or
That sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we need advice and consent. So basically a roll call vote, or I'm sorry, a voice vote would be fine.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Thanks, Kevin. Trustee comments?
Out there.
Comments? Administrator report,
No report tonight.
department reports? Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 The same. Okay, we're meeting for the cow in a couple minutes. Thank you.